Hello and welcome to NHL Best Bets. Yesterday there were three teams that had a chance to clinch their playoffs. We had two picks for those games, and this time results were pretty good. Pittsburgh went to fishing. Islanders took fourth win in this series at home. 5-3 clear win for the home team, and they are proceeding to the second round against Boston Bruins. Then in Minnesota, or in St. Paul, Minnesota Wild kept their season alive. They won Vegas in reasonably tight game, 3-0, and last and final game in this series, legendary Game 7, will be played in Vegas day after tomorrow, or actually tomorrow. So good wins this time. Many reasons to be happy, or what do you see, Tommy?
Yeah, definitely nice to see the green color again. Very nice odds as well, so no minus there. Nowhere to be seen except in the total. In New York, the game went pretty much as expected. There was a very loud crowd for the home team. They were very aggressive. Penguins did take the lead, not once, not twice, but three times in the game and squandered all of those. So this team does not deserve to go through to the second round. In a way, the simulations were correct early in the season when we predicted Pittsburgh Penguins not to reach the playoffs because they definitely shouldn't have been here. Wrong place for this team. Islanders, extremely good performance overall. They played exactly the way that they have to play in order to win these more talented, maybe more speedy teams. But Islanders are such a relentless, gritty team that plays in such a way that it's difficult to beat. So hats off to Islanders. Extremely good game. Great pick for us, from us to for them to win this game. Pittsburgh Penguins a massive disappointment again. So it's now been 3 seasons since they won a single playoff series. Won 3 games during that stretch in the playoffs. So a lot of heads will fall in Pittsburgh, or if not, I don't know what is expected next year. Enough of that series, and the other one was a much more playoff-like contest from both teams. Minnesota Wild, Vegas played very defensively, a little bit careful game, as we saw no goals in 2 first periods. But then Minnesota Wild was the team that managed to break the tie there and take the win and take it to the 7th game, which we were hoping for because, of course, legendary Game 7, especially now in Vegas, it's going to be a massive thing to happen in there. But the good pick from us again, Minnesota, like we mentioned yesterday, has shown that they are capable of playing Vegas with their own weapons and turn these very close games into their favor. So Game 7 will be another coin flip for sure. Probably not a lot of goals if they are playing as careful as they did yesterday. So overall, a very good night for us.
Yeah, it's interesting to see whichever team out of this pair will go to second round, and then facing Colorado Avalanche that maybe have a bit more RPMs their machine, especially on an offensive side, and it was time to time looking like a slow motion movie when Vegas and Minnesota were building their game by managing the puck and moving slower and slower in the ice.
It can be called patience as well, so that's their way of playing. Colorado, a lot more urgency in their game, a lot more speed. They create chances on a regular pace, a lot more than any of these teams remaining. So whoever will win that Game 7 in Vegas will be in for a completely different matchup against Colorado than they have in the first round.
Third game last night, championship of Florida. Tampa Bay took a very convincing 4-0 win, even though the game was a bit tighter than these numbers show. Florida won shots, but Vasilevsky was man of the match, or at least should be. His performance was steady, and he showed that he is Vezina Trophy candidate number 1.
Yeah, Tampa was exactly that much better than Florida Panthers. Nothing to be ashamed of for Panthers. A great fight, but Tampa Bay is just simply a better team. And now when the going gets tough, this team has still some room for improvement. Like we keep mentioning, that they have not yet played their best hockey. They can save it to the longer run in the playoffs, but a good performance by Panthers. They did have their chances as well to score. Vasilevsky, a great game again. Defensively, Tampa Bay, of course, one of the best in the league. So it is not easy task to score against this team. Florida failed to do so and deservedly lost the series.
Tampa will face either Carolina or Nashville in the next round, and they are playing game number 6 tonight in Nashville. Carolina leads 3-2. This very tight series. This time simulations predict Carolina to clinch it, but Nashville has 131 plus odds that provides very good value for bettors. And we've seen that these games have been more or less coin flip, so whatever can happen. And when you get the 131 plus odds in a coin flip, that's very good value for you. And then another game that could also end this series. Toronto, after losing first game, has now won 3 in a row, and there's no too many reasons why Montreal will turn this around. Recently, these games have been clearly under. Montreal has hanged on with good goaltending by Mr. Price, but Toronto has been able to score a few goals to win these games, and that is the recipe for tonight as well. Scoring 3 to 4 goals and keeping Montreal 0 like they've been last game would provide next round ticket for Toronto and win for us in under 5.5 goals.
Yeah, nice picks again. Nashville Predators with this price. We can't turn away from that, even if the simulations do indicate Carolina to win with about 58%. There is value for the home team now, and if you flip a coin 100 times and you get these sort of odds, you got to take these. And Predators have shown that they are capable of beating Carolina. Like we keep repeating, the game that is the decider is always difficult for the team that has the lead, because the other team has nothing to lose, especially when the team is like Predators, playing very good defense, and now they found ways to score as well from their very few chances. So I do think that this is going to be very close affair. It is a bit surprising to see a road team, even if Carolina is a better team, especially offensively, to get these sort of odds of 59%. So I think the Predators is an obvious pick here, and especially how Juuse Saros, have to mention him every time. If he's playing as he's playing, Predators always stand a chance to win. And in Toronto, we've seen how this series has gone. Montreal took the first win, surprisingly. It was a little bit of an off night for Toronto offensively, and after that, Toronto upped their game in the offense, kept their balance in the defense. Montreal is not a team that can play an open-minded sort of hockey. They're not scoring a lot of goals. But they can win if they keep their net clear, so they're not allowing Toronto to run havoc in the offensive zone. So this is the key. Montreal does have to play through defense. Toronto has played well enough in the defense to keep the score down. So this under is a no-brainer here. 60% in the simulations go under 5.5 goals. Nice odds, minus 120. It's not expected to be a blowout. An important game for both teams. Toronto wants to cut it at home as soon as possible, of course. Montreal still has to win a couple of games in order to get through.
Before the playoffs started, we predicted one game to go to Game 7, and that was from the Vegas-Minnesota series, and that's the case right now. They are playing Game 7, and then other one that could be most probably Game 7. I don't think Montreal will do the comeback in North Division, but Nashville could win tonight and push Game 7 as well.
Yeah, Nashville was in the simulations. Nashville was a bit better early in the season. It was a bit of a disappointment on that regard from them. Then they had a better sequence, and now in the playoffs they have improved and they played their style. So in the early on, the game 7 in this series was probably not very likely. But now I do think that Nashville is the kind of team that will thrive in Game 7. So maybe even going to the next round is still a possibility. Carolina is still a better team. Never forget that.
We have been struggling a bit during the playoffs with our picks because playoffs are playoffs and it's a bit difficult to predict that Edmonton won't win a single game this time in playoffs. But how about our simulation machine? Has it been better so far?
Yeah, simulations have been better than us. No surprise there. Barely though, so we are in the plus for about $100 if you bet all the playoff games so far with this same stake as we have before. So they're there, but I think we're gonna improve on that regard as well. We, as two of us, and also the machine, is probably learning from the first round of playoffs, and it will show up in the second one a little bit better. But a decent result still to be in the profits from the side value in the simulations.
Yeah, that sounds good because playoffs are always difficult to bet. The big data that we gather during the regular season is not applicable as one-to-one to playoffs, and teams that wake up the right time, like St. Louis Blues a few years ago, or maybe Winnipeg Jets now, can make miracles happen.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore at all what you did during the regular season. If you make your way to the playoffs, everything is open for you. Like now, Winnipeg Jets has shown, also New York Islanders. Not many people gave any chances against Pittsburgh, who was the best team in the NHL at home, scored at will, everything was going for them. But in the playoffs, it was a bad team and a wrong type of playoff hockey. Doesn't work. Islanders clearly a better team in this series.
Let's see if we will get another Game 7 tonight in Carolina-Nashville series, but if not, we'll start to prepare then for second round. We have already Islanders and Boston as a one pair. Then Tampa Bay is waiting, Winnipeg is waiting, and Colorado is waiting who they are playing against. So maybe we know tonight, if not tomorrow, we know for sure one more team who is going to second round.
Yeah, let's hope for more hockey. More is always better when it's playoffs.
Will do, and see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.